Hello, welcome to the Lulu Loves Crochet Podcast, episode 47. 47? I think so. My name is Emma, and this is my podcast all about crochet and crafts and books. I hope you're all well. We're nearly there with January. I think it's the 19th today. We've had Blue Monday. We survived. I find January hard. Every year I try to, go into it with a really positive mindset, and just, about a week in, I'm just like, there. I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that it's tax season for us. So we have to do all our accounts because, Rob and I are both self-employed and we're not the most organised of people. So it's always a bit chaotic. And yeah, that does kill some of the joy. And the darkness starts to get to me about January. Although we did note that it was still light at 4:30 last night. So, some improvement. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I don't know if I've said that. I am just going to update you today on some projects that I've been working on. I've got one finished item, a couple of new bits and some whips to show, and then some book talk at the end. I might also film a separate book video. I'll talk about what I'm reading currently, but I thought maybe I'll film a video next week on my favourite books of 2022, and maybe including the books I got for Christmas, because I've got quite a few lovely books for Christmas, and I won't have time to talk through them today. So, but anyway, we'll get straight on. So, the first project that I finished, or the only project I finished, is my winter hat. So if you watched the winter vlog, you would have seen me making this and talking about this. And I think maybe I spoke about it on the last podcast. I can't quite remember, to be honest with you. Anyway, she's finished. There she is. Look at that. I've added some pearls and some flowers. Really subtle. I just think that gives it a really delicate edge. She's a sort of beret, you can see there, but I've made her longer. Like normally a beret would just kind of almost go in on itself, like the decreases would be worked identical to the increases so that it would lay flat. I do find when I make berets like that, they just perch on my head, and which is lovely, I love, but I really wanted something that I could kind of pull down over my ears, if it was cold. It's been cold, it's really cold, it's frosty today, we've had snow and lots of ice, so this has been perfect. The yarn I was using, there's no pattern, I've just made it up as I've gone along, so I've just done like a double crochet, UK double crochet, or a US single crochet, just increased out until I felt I had a right size. I used an average sort of beret size for this bit. And then what I did with the increases is I just decreased gradually. I did a decrease row and then a normal row, a decrease row, and just kind of went down that like that until I had a length that I was happy with. My husband and I went out for a walk the other day, and lovely and frosty, so I did take some pictures, so maybe I'll pop some pictures up here, and you can see it on. And then I just obviously crocheted some little flowers and leaves in the same yarn, stitched those on, and just added some of those seed pearls. It sort of goes off to one side like that, so I'm really pleased with that. The yarn was this is Stylecraft Grace. It's 85% premium acrylic, 10% mohair and 5% wool. It is 100 grams. 100 gram ball. I used a 4mm hook, and I think I used about 75 grams of the ball. So not bad. Its recommended hook size is 4 to 6mm. So I'm guessing that's working up a bit like a DK weight, which I would agree with. It's lovely and squishy in the ball. I think I spoke about this a lot on the video, so I won't go over it, but it is really lovely and squishy. Unfortunately, when I started to make it up, it did feel quite acrylic-y in that not good way, a little bit. But it's lovely and warm, and it's not too itchy on my forehead, which I was worried about as I was working it up. I was thinking, oh, I don't know that I'll be able to wear this actually. But I have been wearing it and it's been absolutely fine. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm not sure if I'll create a pattern for that or not. I don't know. Probably not actually. So, but yeah, I have really enjoyed working that one up. It's a really nice, easy project. And that's the only finished item. What else have we got? Oh yeah, so I'll update you on some of the things I was working on over Christmas. I did share this little kit. If my camera's focusing. Really cute. I was hoping to make it over Christmas as a little Christmas tree decoration, you know, something that I could hang up. But we all got ill and really nothing got done. So that's as far as I've got. I am not very good at embroidery. I realise I am not very good at judging where those stitches need. In fact, I wish I had drawn some lines on. That might have been easier, but I figured it's supposed to be, what's he? Professor Hair Stargazer. I mean, no animal's got really straight hair, right? So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I kind of just gave up and thought, well, if I'm going to enjoy this, I'm not going to be too too perfect about it. So I've cut them out. I've done the embroidery the brown embroidery stitches and the white, which I tried to make a little bit smaller just so that there was a bit of difference. They're not neat at all. I've done his front and his back. There we go. And now I guess I just need to cut out the other bits of his body. I think I've done the bulk of the embroidery actually. So it looks like just cutting out and stitching together. That will be interesting because my hand stitching is not very neat. And the other thing about this project is I should have had this done. This should have been a really, really quick thing. But we have low lights here in the house in the evening. That's what I'm a bit of a mole. I like it nice and dark and cozy. And I can't see my stitches. So I can only work on it during the day, which limits the time that I have to work on it. So maybe I'll just sit down one weekend and just get that finished. Yeah, so I did go to pick it up one evening and I just couldn't see what I was doing at all. So I will finish that and show you when it's finished. I mean, I'm not going to update you regularly on this tiny, teeny project and how I'm doing. It honestly should have been finished within a day. I think that's just how it goes these days. Everything seems to take twice as long. So that's that. Then the other project I was working on was a knitting project. I don't know what it is about Christmas and December that makes me want to have a go at knitting again. I just don't know. But I did. I really thought I just fancy trying something. And anyway, I had seen a post on Instagram. And someone had been making these little knitted like cravats, like the Miss Marple style. If you've ever seen, she wears this kind of knitted thing. I'll try and find a picture and, you know, it sort of folds over itself, goes through itself. And the post kind of sold it to me because it was like, it's kind of a bit of a move on from beginner, but, you know, if you're new to knitting, you should be able to do this. So I thought, well, that's great. You know, I love Miss Marple. I'm going to have a go. Anyway, I don't know if she'd put the pattern in there because it was very simple if she'd linked to the pattern, but either way, I did not know the terms and I sort of fell at the first hurdle. So I had a look on YouTube and I managed to find a tutorial for the same pattern. I guess it must be pretty widely shared now. So I've got it in my little flowery bag. That's cheering me up. So I went and I bought some needles. I picked up this Acorn Aran yarn and 5mm needles, and you needed, look at that lovely yarn. Oh, that's lovely. That's King Cole shade Juniper. Cool. And it's interesting, I was saying on that vlog, like this yarn would have worked up so differently had I crocheted with it. yeah, so I was quite surprised to see it because I'm not a knitter, Anyway, I had a go. Honestly, don't look too closely because it's terrible. But what you needed was some DPNs, and I didn't have any. In fact, I'm wondering where I've put the other 2 needles because I'm going to need them again soon. So I went and bought some DPNs. I bought, actually, here they are, because I wasn't sure what size I needed. I bought 2 sets. They were just these ones. Pony Bamboo, which I thought might be quite good for a beginner. They're all right. I think I'm probably blunting them a bit, honestly. I don't know, with my vigorous knitting. Anyway, so this is what I've got so far. So you start with this kind of tapered end, and then you have to split the yarn to create this kind of pocket here. Okay, so that, I guess, the other end, this sort of goes around your neck like this. This sits here, it goes around, and it comes across like that. So I thought that would be really good for like dog walks and that, because sometimes I don't want to wear a bulky scarf. Like, I get quite warm the minute I'm moving. So something like this that just keeps the draft out is perfect. It's not bundling me up. So I thought that would be really good. And again, I thought this is probably not the colour I would wear, if I'm honest. So I did buy some like better yarn or some nicer yarn. And I thought, if I can do it, I'll do it again. Like, I won't mind making 2 because it's not a big project. But for me, this has been a month. This is a month's worth of knitting. I'm just so slow. I'm so incredibly slow. I have switched from like English style knitting, continental knitting. I've tried to teach myself to flick the yarn, all sorts of things. And I've had to pull back quite a big section because I had so many holes that I just thought, even I can't accept that. And then I pulled back right down to here, and what I realized is this yarn is kind of like, can you see, it's got that kind of, it's kind of splitty in that it's got these 2 colors. Because I was dropping stitches, but at the same time I still had more stitches than I'd started with. And I think what I'd been doing is somehow managing to split the yarn with the needle and sort of creating extra stitches. So I did pull back quite significantly. So now I've got a bit here that's a bit looks a bit beraggled. Like, you can see the light through it quite significantly, where I tried to pull back the yarn, then the yarn was all sort of knotted, and I thought, oh gosh, what have I done? Anyway, it's fine. I've also got a section here on this side where I was doing that ribbing, and then I forgot where I was, and I've changed the direction of the rib. That's a bit unfortunate, but this side is fine. But other than that, I'm getting, let me just move my tea out of the way. I'm definitely getting neater. The edges are nice and neat. My tension looks fairly consistent now that I've gone back to the English style, the style that I learnt. So although it's slower, what I found when I was doing the continental is, as a crocheter, it was much more natural for me to hold the yarn in this hand. But it made me really fast, and it was like almost too fast. I couldn't keep up. And that's when I think I was splitting stitches and things like that. So I've gone back. I'm a little bit slower doing it this way, but I know that it's going to look neat. So yeah, I don't appear to have dropped a stitch in a while. I think I dropped one at the beginning. But I seem to have the same number. So that's that yarn worked up. It's pretty. Yeah, really nice. It looks just like it does on the ball band, actually, which is, when you're crocheting these types of yarns, you really, because the samples are generally knitted, you never really know what your yarn's going to look like. So anyway, all I've got to do now is just get that to a length that I'm happy with. I think soon I'm going to stop because I want it to sit about there. And then I've got to do another one of these, which will involve splitting the yarn again, I think. Although I don't know why you would need to do that. But splitting the yarn again, and then I guess decreasing to get that shape. So yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased. I will be pleased to finish it, just because then I will have felt like, you know, I've picked up knitting so many times, and I think so far I've made 2 really oversized hats, a pair of wrist warmers, in which I only finished 1 because it was such a major accomplishment I couldn't bring myself to finish the other one. So that's 2 oversized hats, 1 glove, and this bib scarf. So not too bad. But actually I took it into Knit and Natter at the library to see if the ladies could give me some tips, but they were just so lovely. They just, oh no, it looks lovely, keep going. So I will just keep going with that. I mean, I just don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I think part of what's been so enjoyable about it is it's just been a challenge. It's been a while with crochet since I've learn anything new. I think that's the thing. Like most patterns I pick up and I think, oh, I can feel a bit intimidated, but actually once you get in you think, oh, the stitches are all the same, whereas this is almost like a completely new skill. So I'm definitely having fun with that. So I need to get that finished. But the nice thing about the knitting is, and I find this more so with crochet, is that I can just pick it up and put it down. I don't know why that is. I mean, I probably could do that with a granny square, but they're generally so small, you're just like, oh, I'll just finish this square. Whereas with knitting, I'm just putting it down, doing a couple of rows, picking it up. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm slower at it. So yeah, that's that. So I will hopefully be able to share that finished next time. And then I'll show you actually while I was at the yarn shop getting the hooks. Oh, that's the door. Yes, so I picked up because I wasn't sure how much yarn I would need. I picked up 2 of these. This is the Rico Design Fashion Modern Tweed Light and Soft Aran. That's 50-gram balls, 60% wool, 20% polyamide and 20% viscose. I just really liked the look. So there's but look at that. Lovely. And this is really soft. So I really liked the look of that. So I got 2 balls of that to then maybe make it up again in a colour that I might wear, because I do think if I finish that one I will probably pass it on, or depending on how it turns out, put it in a pile never to be seen again. But yeah, so I've bought myself some yarn that I probably am more likely to wear, and I will make another one. I've got my I don't know what my collar's doing. I've got my jumper on today, my little shorty. I've messed up my collar. Perfect, lovely. It's keeping me lovely and warm, but I don't feel hot when I'm moving around. So I'm really pleased with this. What else have we got? So that was the Miss Marple scarf. I'll link the tutorial that I'm working from below. I mean, I'm not sure many people will really take to a Miss Marple scarf, but I think it's lovely. Now then, I'm kind of on a theme at the moment. So I think I was talking about in my last podcast that I was going to do like not a make 9, but like a make 6, and try and be a bit more, you know, have a bit more of a goal, just get some projects organized so that when I'm in the mood to make something, I've got everything sorted. So if I pick a few projects, I can order the yarn in and then I could just get started. So I did at the weekend have a look, and I've got a list of 6 projects that I would like to make. I'm still not feeling particularly like I'm not desperate to make them. So I think maybe I need to have a little bit of a further look back at some of the things I've saved, maybe on Pinterest, and just, you know, try and find some projects that I'm really, really excited about. Anyway, our lovely neighbour went to Hong Kong a little while ago, and while she was over there, she brought me this book. She brought it back for me. It was a complete surprise. I love these sort of books, but I don't pick them up very often unless there used to be a lady that you could buy them from on Etsy. But so there we go. It means absolutely nothing to me, but the patterns in it are beautiful, really, really beautiful. So it says just crochet shawls and stoles. So it says that in English on the front. And with these books, they're always so beautiful to look at. The pictures are always really well taken. The projects just look gorgeous, really. So there are lots of and lots of sort of in this one in particular, lots of pineapple motifs, which I love myself some crochet pineapple. So I thought, well, there's so many projects in here that I would like to make. I will pick one and make that my first project of the year. But as I was going through, I came across this. I'll just try and find it now. Here we go. Now look, that just reminds me of my Miss Marple scarf so much. I thought, well, I've got to have a go at that now. It looks like the same kind of principle, apart from they just have these small circles in the repeat that it looks like she's just tucked the scarf through one of those. Yeah. Anyway, so I thought, okay, look, we're going with a theme. I love a theme. So I thought it would be interesting to compare the crochet with the knit. But I didn't want to use the same yarn, although I tried to work it up in the same weight yarn. So I started off with this. This is a Knit Crate yarn that they sent a long time ago, and it's one that I've just had up there waiting to use. I think actually I had an email from Knit Crate to say that some of the patterns I designed for them had come back to me because they were closing. So that's really sad. I mean, I hadn't really been using their yarn a lot because I was having trouble with deliveries for a long time. So but that's that was really sad to hear that. And actually Mariner yarns as well. I think Mariner yarns might have closed because we had a local Shaw's, and about 2 weeks ago it just closed down. It got stripped. Everything's just gone. And I went onto the Mariner website, and their website just says under maintenance. So I feel like they might have closed as well. That would be really sad because Mariner yarns are just lovely and affordable, aren't they? So yeah, I think there's a lot of businesses are really struggling. Anyway, I've got this yarn. So I've got I had 2 skeins of this yarn. I don't know where I've put the band for it now, but it feels lovely. I've never done anything with it, but this is how it was working out with the crochet. Okay, yeah, you can't even see that really because I got about that far. Now the book has there's no written instructions in English, so they're charts only. And I think they're charts anyway, they're just charts, but the instructions that are there, like, they're just not in English, which that's fine. But it just meant that it does mean that if you don't read charts, then these books are absolutely useless to you. I do read charts. I like working from a chart. I won't show it to you, but it does have a picture, like a diagram of the scarf, and there are measurements. So I couldn't even find on here, like, I can't even tell you what hook you're supposed to use, what yarn it suggests. All I can see is the charted pattern. Where there are chains, they've put the numbers so you can read those. But other than that, it does tell you the length in centimetres. So it was supposed to be, at its widest point, 11 centimetres. So I did one repeat, and I think that's about 30 centimeters. So I thought, okay, right, that's not going to work. Also, I just wasn't liking that yarn like that. Like, I know for a fact that that's not something I will wear. So I might try and knit that yarn. That might, I think, probably work better. So that was a no. So then I went back and I thought, okay, well, I will try it with some fingering weight yarn then. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using fingering weight yarn, a 3mm crochet hook, and this is the yarn. I think this, I had already wound this ball up. I want to say is it Eden? I can't remember the name. Eden Valley? I don't know, I'll have to look it up, but it's so old. I just, you know, there's no point me really even telling you about it. Anyway, it's definitely got a lot of wool in it, I can tell you that. But it's working out beautifully. Let me just make sure I'm not going to unravel it. Okay. And I've checked the, you can see it better there. Look. So I've checked the measurements and I'm kind of about right. So I feel like it was obviously meant for a fingering weight yarn. But that's beautiful. Can you see those pineapples? So it kind of splits like this, and sort of you've got these big sort of circles here by chaining, and I'm guessing it's a similar thing. You just make it, I mean, it does give a length, make it till it's long enough, and then you tuck it one end through the other. But isn't that lovely? And that yarn is really lovely and neutral. It's just beautiful. So I am really, really enjoying working that up. I forgot how much I enjoyed working like filet crochet. I love working from charts. So actually it's been a really good practice because and I can just do one little bit at a time as well. So the pattern is, you know, small enough that I don't have to stop halfway through, because obviously when you've got you know, lots of detail like this, you really need to finish off a row at a time and really mark where you are. So this is just, gosh, I absolutely love it. There we go again. Have another look. Just have another look at that. Isn't that so pretty? So I will continue working this, and then I think maybe it needs a little bit of a block or a light steaming or something. But again, this would be, this is just going to be lovely just to tuck around my neck. So I will be the proud owner of 2 Miss Marple style cravats, one knit and one crocheted. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. So, and that was so sweet of my neighbour to remember me like that. So I was really, really so touched. But I think that is it. Let me have a look at my list. I did write a list. Yes, that's it. So I will just show you now a couple of new things. Mostly we're looking at, well, I've already shown you that new yarn. That's the only yarn I've bought this month. But I will just, let me go and grab my books. Okay, how are we doing? Right. So first of all, I'll show you this. Did I show you this? I don't think I did. So I bought a physical copy of Simply Crochet Magazine. What issue is this? 130. I think this must have been their Christmas edition. And after I was saying that I don't buy paper magazines in that video, the reason I bought it is because I wasn't sure if I would get the supplement because I generally read Simply Crochet through my library app for free. But you know, sometimes when you read like that, they don't come with the free supplements. And look at this. Oh gosh. I just really wanted, so this is a Flower Fairies calendar designed by Claire Cooper in association with Rico Designs. So they've got flower fairies based on all those lovely artwork from Cecily Barker, isn't it? Baker? I don't know. But look, there's the holly fairy. They just look lovely, and I love their little fluffy hair. Let's have a look. Anyway, they're all really cute. Look at this one, the daffodil fairy. So that's the daffodil fairy. She's lovely. Who else have we got? Oh, just so pretty. The strawberry fairy. I mean, I don't know how many of these I will be able to make, or I will... The forget-me-not fairy, look, she's beautiful. But I really just wanted the patterns. I mean, they're all very beautiful. Blackberry, Acorn. What have we got for August? Let me see what my birthday fairy is. The foxglove fairy. She's also fairly cute. Look at those. So they're all lovely, and the patterns are all at the back of the calendar. So you can have the calendar open. So it's one basic pattern and then like, I guess, amendments for each different fairy, which I think is a really good idea. So you make a basic doll pattern. Oh, there's the Christmas fairy. I just love the yarn that they've used for their hair. It just looks so cute. So there they all are. Honestly, I would like to make them all. That definitely won't happen. But I will pick one, I think. Maybe I'll do the Christmas fairy or something like that. So, and do one of those. So I just really wanted that. And like I said, it may well be with the copy you get, but I wasn't sure. So I bought it when I saw it because I'd seen an advert for it on their, I think maybe their Instagram or something like that. So I picked that up. And then that's it. I've got one crochet book to show you, which I got for Christmas. So I know I said I'm going to do a video with my Christmas books on, but this one was crochet related. So this is Lindsey's book, Lindsey Newns, Lottie and Albert. Lovely Lindsey. So I did get bought that for Christmas. So I was really happy because I didn't have a copy of it. And it's such a lovely size. Look at that. I love it. You know, I love Lindsey's work anyway. It's always very fresh and modern. And I think, you know, you get a real sense of Lindsey's style in this book. This is my favourite project, the hat. I love that. But there are also lots of little projects in typical, you know, very modern take on crochet. Lovely. I think those are my favourite. The Fair Isle hat and her the spot-on slippers. I love that. What else have we got? Oh, and I did really love these little Christmas characters that she's designed. They're so cute. So yeah, I was really happy to have that. I didn't get time to make anything from it over Christmas, but you know, I've got it for next year now, so that's lovely. And then I will talk to you about the books that I'm currently reading. So if you are only here for Crochet Talk and Craft Talk, then I will say goodbye. If you'd like to stick around and find out what I've been reading, then yeah, stay tuned. So I'm currently reading The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. This book I had put on my video for books I wanted to read in 2021, I think, and I bought a copy of it a while after that. I didn't get around to buying it at the time. So it was definitely one I wanted to read, and actually someone left a comment you know, saying that they had just read it and asking about my thoughts. So I thought, right, I'm going to put that next on my list because I really want to read it. The reason I hadn't picked it up earlier, because it has been fairly close up on my to be read pile, fairly close to the top, was because it's about words and It's a lovely book. But I had just finished reading Babel, which is a huge book by R.F. Kuang, I think. I've got it. Let me just... Hang on a minute. Here we go. R.F. Kuang. Babel, an arcane history. It's a big 550 pages. It's set in the 1830s in Oxford. It's about etymology and the creation of words and magic. It's supposed to be a fantasy, but it's really not. It's set in Oxford around all the academic buildings. It's a science fiction. They have magic that happens when you translate words. They use it in silver bars to make things better. Of course, that becomes the privilege of the wealthy. But what they're doing is they're bringing in young children from other countries to assist them. So really, it's really about colonialism and who benefited and the consequences. So it's quite deep, but it's also very academic. I think she studied at Oxford and Cambridge, and I think she studies a lot of languages. So if you're interested in where words how they've evolved, what languages they've come from, it's really fascinating. But the story itself, this is really, really long. And it just, I think maybe 100, 200 pages too long, honestly. So it felt really... like the first half of the book, I flew through. It's about a young group of these translators. They've been brought in from other countries. They're very young, and it's a bit Hogwartsy in that sense. And they're put into this academic, very white environment where they're kind of looked down on. But there's parts of it that are quite hard, I suppose, in that sense. It really does look at, the colonialism, the empire, ideas of empire and who that benefited. And actually that these institutions, these educational institutions also benefited from that. So, which is quite interesting in itself. But anyway, I digress. I read that through the autumn. It took me a long time and I enjoyed it. I did. But this book, The Dictionary of Lost Words, is also about words. So I wasn't quite ready to go there. But actually, this is a totally different type of book. This book is, when is this set? It's set during the creation of the first Oxford Dictionary, which took many, many years. So, does it say when it's set? Part 1, 1887. And it's about a young girl called Esme. She lives with her dad, and he works in the scriptorium, which is a building where they receive slips with words in and quotations, and they're adding them to the Oxford Dictionary, or what will become the Oxford English Dictionary. And, she's grown up working, she sort of hides under the table, or just waits quietly under the table while her dad works until she's old enough to go to school and things like that. So she picks up a lot about, the meaning of words, where they've come from. And it's a lovely story. I've really enjoyed reading it. I'm only I'm nearly halfway through, but it's just, so you're growing with her. And she's in this environment where she's a middle class. She's got these middle class expectations of her. And she comes to understand that the words are only included into the dictionary if they've been written down, and only if they've been written down multiple times, so they've got multiple sources. And she comes to the conclusion that misses out quite a lot of words, because particularly those from like the working class who seem to have their own language, and some of these words can be quite crude as well, and she doesn't understand why they wouldn't be included just because they've never been written down before. So she starts to collect these words herself by going out and making friends and sort of writing down what they mean and writing down quotes. And that's as far as I've got, really. She's become a young lady now, and with it she's developed, her own ideas. And so far I'm really enjoying it. Now, I have heard on, I've had a little look on Goodreads, and some people have said they really enjoy the first third of the book and then not the last 2/3. And other people have said the opposite. So I will be intrigued to see whether I enjoy the rest of this book, because so far I've really enjoyed it. It's not a page turn, you're not like flicking through to see, but when I've been reading it, I've been really absorbed in the characters, and the writing's beautiful. So so far I'm enjoying it. So I hope that I don't suddenly take a disliking to it. So, I mean, I don't know why I would. I guess it depends where the story goes. That's the point. So far she's been a child, whereas now she's become a woman. So we'll see what happens with that. But I am so far really enjoying it. So if you've read it, let me know your thoughts. I'd be interested to see. And then back on my reading books that I read as a child, or maybe books that I've missed out on as a child. So I'm going through Nina Bawden's at the moment. She wrote Carrie's War, which I really enjoyed. And then last year I read The Witch's Daughter and The Peppermint Pig. So I've picked up Squib, which I don't think is one that I ever read. I got this one off eBay. It's an ex-library book, or this one, school library, St Mary's School Library. But I went for this one because it's got the illustrations by Shirley Hughes, she did My Naughty Little Sister and all that. So, I read the first chapter of that last night. Seems to be about a young boy that just keeps appearing at a playground. And he's never with anyone. He doesn't seem to know how to play. That's quite interesting. But I don't know much about it, to be honest with you. So I'll let you know how I get on that. But I am enjoying really revisiting some of the, not so much the books, but the favourite authors. More books from the authors that I enjoyed when I was younger. So going through that, I'm going to try and do more of that as well this year. And then lastly, was that the only book? I'm also on Audible. I'm listening to Spare. Have you listened? Have you read it? What do you think? Oh, shocking. It's not really. I wasn't going to, but then curiosity got the better of me. So yes, I'm on I think chapter 12 or 13. So yeah, so far very interesting. I mean, nothing, but it's kind of interesting to read about, something that's always been so private. I think that's what's shocking about it, is that the royal family have always had this, private. We don't talk about family. We don't talk about this, and whether that's for the right or wrong, I don't know. But so that's what's interesting about it to me. And I'm also listening to, on Audible, a man called Uva, which I'm listening to because I've got the book to read, but I haven't got around to reading it. And I know I won't get around to reading it. And I think there's a film coming out, isn't there, with Tom Hanks called based on it. And they've changed the name to A Man Called Otto. So far I'm enjoying it. He is a grumpy old man who's been recently widowed, and he's having a really hard time, and this family come in. I think he's very set in his ways, and this family move in across the road, and they just have this habit of irritating him. But I'm interested to see what happens, because he's sort of a character that in a way you can't help but love. He's just so grumpy and miserable. So I'm really enjoying that, listening to that. I'm not too far in, but I would like to finish that before I watch the film. And then the last one, this is what I've got out from the library. This is The Weather Woman by Sally Gardner. Doesn't that look beautiful? I think I was definitely drawn to the cover on this one. It says, her story unfolds between the two great Fost fairs on the Thames. Neva is born into a world of trickery and illusion where fortunes can be won and lost on the turn of a card. She is also born with an extraordinary gift. She can predict the weather. In Regency England, where the proper goal for a gentlewoman is marriage, and only God knows the weather, this is dangerous. In order to debate with the men of the science and move about freely, Neva adopts a sophisticated male disguise. She foretells the weather from inside an automaton created by her brilliant clockmaker father. But what will happen when the disguised Neva falls in love with a charismatic young man? It can be very dangerous to be ahead of your time, especially as a woman. So I really liked the sound of that. I've not started it yet, but that will be next book I read, I think. Too many books to read. So that's everything I'm reading at the moment. And yeah, watching on TV. We've not really watched anything new so far. I've been watching Happy Valley. We've been really enjoying. Well, I say we. I have been really enjoying that. No one else is that interested in that, so I've been looking forward to that. And other than that, yeah, nothing really. So yeah, that's it. So I hope you're all well, and I will be back in a couple of weeks with another podcast, hopefully some updates and some finished projects. Oh, I wanted to say the gloves as well, the wrist-worn patterns. I did finish the pattern. I just need to get the photographs edited and then for the pattern to be listed on Etsy. So that should be up in the next week or so, but I will put maybe a note up on here when it's ready. So yes, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with some updates and hopefully some finished projects. And I think maybe next week I will film a book video. So just to go into more detail on the books I got and the books that I really enjoyed from last year. So anyway, I hope you're well, and thank you for watching if you've got this far. And I will see you again soon. Bye.